Good evening, Saugus. Welcome to the December meeting of the Library Board of Trustees. Happy holidays to you all. Hello, our friends at the Senior Center. My colleague, Trustee Faringo, is having some nice holiday cheer. Happiest I've seen him in years, which is nice. Bill, you're smiling tonight, Bill? Thank you.
Humbug.
Thank you. And I would like to call this meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. So, Trustee Faringo, would you mind calling the roll?
All right, Director Tebow.
Here.
Mr. Sullivan.
Present.
Let's see, Trustee Bell.
Present.
Trustee Yeager.
Present.
Trustee Faringo. Present. And welcome, Trustee Dion.
Present. Thank you.
And I haven't heard from Trustee Murray, but she might be in. And thank you for that. And I would like to welcome a new trustee, Tom Dion.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the exalted community of the library.
Thank you. I love libraries.
Good. And the first item to attend to would be the approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which would be not May, would be October.
It's on the back of the agenda, front of the pack.
You'd like a second? Second?
No, one second. Trustee Faringo, thank you again.
Yeah, apparently this is my job now, so
We have a temporary secretary?
sure.
You're doing a great job at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, here is Trustee Murray. Okay, so we'll wait till Gail pops in.
There you go.
Thanks again, Bill. You're doing a great job as secretary, acting secretary.
Thank you.
And hello, Gail. Also, while Trustee Murray is getting settled, I would like to thank Saugus Ice Cream for donating the lovely Christmas tree upstairs on the second floor. Thanks, third year in a row. Brings the staff much joy. I popped in here Saturday when they were decorating it. And there's some nice article in the Lynn item about the tree, so thanks again, Saugus, and bring some nice holiday cheer to our fine library. Nothing like a live tree, in my opinion. Then again, I am partial to live trees.
Make sure it's watered every day.
Yep, exactly. And so, Gail, we were reviewing the minutes from our meeting in October. Any questions about the minutes? So, if there are no questions or requests for a change, could I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion to approve the minutes as written.
Could someone second the motion?
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes from October as written? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Motion passes. Next item would be public comments. Unfortunately, we don't have any members of the public again. Someday, we'll have some visitors perhaps. I think we might have a Life Scout project on board.
That's the rumor.
Did,
They did
Really?
an initial visit.
Okay.
What we're gonna be doing is a follow-on to the acoustical treatments we put elsewhere in the building, a few on the walls in here to cut down on the amount of echo and reverb.
Okay, excellent. Yes, we could have Sean maybe pop in and just talk about it for a few minutes at one of our meetings.
They're gonna get back to me with a precise proposal.
Okay.
We talked parameters and such a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, right, thank you, Alan. And the main item tonight, of course, is Alan speaking, and first topic would be the monthly financial statement.
You'll turn to page number 3 in the packets in front of you. You'll see the basic summary of the financial statement. The supporting documents, the munis reports and stuff are at the back side of the packet. Right now, but as of the 6th of December, when numbers were pulled, 56% of the year remaining. Our spending is on target. We're doing okay, no problems with salaries, non-salary as well, so spending is on target. That's really it.
Thank you. And then we can move to the library director's report. If no one has any questions about the monthly financial statement.
Okay. Short agenda on the director's report tonight. We'll be closed on Monday, the 25th of this month, and Tuesday, the 26th, for the Christmas holiday. That closure on the 26th is something new for us. There was a mechanism set up in the new collective bargaining agreement, which was agreed to about a year ago in 2022, December of 2022, laying parameters on which we could declare a close day for the 26th, and we've met those, so we're going to be closed that day. We've been notified by the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners that we are indeed certified for 2024. As a result, we're going to be eligible to participate in the resource sharing, books, things like that we normally do with the other Massachusetts libraries who are also certified, which are all but a very small handful in the state. We don't have a complete count yet on those who aren't. And our initial award this year is going to be fairly staggering, $31,921 and some change. To give you a historical perspective on this, when I started here in 2017, we were averaging mid to low 30s for the whole year. That would be 2 awards, one in January generally paid, and then the other one in April or May. Roughly equal, not exactly, but roughly equal. Our first half of the award this year is almost as much as we were making then. So they basically doubled the amount of state aid that we're getting. So we're looking at an income of about $62,000 this year on it. So this will put us in good position to use that money later on for the building projects. And,
Yes.
Painting, the carpeting, furnishings, maybe relooking how we do our space utilization, that sort of thing.
Excellent.
It's a lot of money we're sitting on, and we will be sitting on, but we'll be putting it to good use down the road. The funding for the state aid program statewide is improved by like more than 17 million this year. Libraries use it a little bit differently. Some of them use it on books, some of them use it for salaries, some use it for different things. We tend to use it primarily for projects and programs. And a little bit for salaries, but not a whole lot. That's usually where our interns and our substitutes are paid from. So we also add a little bit in for staff education and things like that. Attached to this report that you have in front of you tonight is our FY 2025 municipal budget request draft for your consideration, and I'd like to ask the board to vote on it if possible tonight. I'll be asking the board to approve it under new business, and once approved, we'll be able to submit the request to Town Hall by their deadline of December 19th, which is this coming Tuesday. It's an odd year where we actually have the meeting before the deadline. In the past, we've had to kind of approve it after the deadline.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're going to be holding staff training in January, dates to be announced. Among the planned topics are going to be a new e-card registration system that Noble has set up, along with other mass libraries. A review of the museum discount pass procedures at staff level. All of these venues do it a little bit differently. It's kind of a complicated job if you're on the desk, so I thought it would be a good idea if we sat down together and went over it. And a look at an upcoming update to the Evergreen integrated library system. It's going to be happening in early January. So I anticipate the training is going to take place after that happens. People have had a little bit of a chance to deal with it and should get more questions that way.
Okay.
And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Any questions for Director Tebow? And in terms of old business, I did make an appearance at the Cultural Council voting meeting, and I did advocate for the library. I hope I didn't make our case any worse. It was an interesting meeting, to say the least. And I did make the case for the library and why they should support us on an ongoing basis. So. And in terms of new business, there are 2 items. There's the budget request. And the first thing is, in terms of the holiday staff appreciation, when Alan runs the trainings for the staff in January, we'll provide lunch. So that way we can get everybody like a holiday, post-holiday meal.
Post-holiday.
Post-holiday, because we can't get everybody in the building at the same time to provide a lunch or dinner. So we'll provide a lunch during the trainings.
We'll hit everybody, most everybody over 2 sessions.
Yeah, so-
1 or 2 sessions.
So that'll be like a post-holiday lunch, so a luncheon. And do the trustees have any comments or any concerns they'd like to bring up? Okay. Yeah, well, Alan, you can move to the next item.
Okay, the next item under new business, Mr. Chairman, is the FY 2025 municipal budget request. Our goals here this year were fairly simple. We want to retain certification, which means that we have to be open a certain number of hours. 59 hours a week for us works, with a few evenings and weekend day. And we have to spend 13% of an amount equivalent to 13% of the municipal budget on materials, books, CDs, DVDs, newspapers, databases, things that the patrons use directly. So that amount that we spend on that has to be 13% of the municipal appropriation. And we have to satisfy a number that's known as the municipal appropriation requirement, which is basically the average of the previous 3 years' budgets, increased by 1.25%. This budget will meet all of those requirements. And I'll kind of go through here line by line, if you will. The first piece we're looking at is the salaries and wages. Of course, that's set by the collective bargaining agreement. Generally speaking, we also have a number in there for education incentive for the full-time staff members who are part of the union. It's 1.4% or 14%. It escapes me now. It's about it's going to be $8,411 out of 312, so it's about 4% of the budget for the full-time staff, the 3 full-time staff members. And longevity pay this year is going to equal $5,854, plus $850 for the director that's set staff by the town. So what we're going to do here in addition to this is we're going to be requesting an increase in pay for our department heads. And that's 4 positions, 3 full-time, 1 part-time. Department heads are currently paid at a job classification on the contract, which specifically is librarian 4,200. And under this arrangement, department heads and the professional librarians that they supervise are on the same exact salary level. Despite clear differences between the 2 position levels in terms of supervisory and operational responsibilities. I believe this arrangement is unfair to our department heads. They have greater responsibilities, including supervision, decision-making, resource allocation, project planning, and resolving operational issues on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. The 4 affected positions would be the head of young adult services, the head of children's services, head of reference services, and the head of technical services. So what I'd like to propose is changing the pay table for these positions from the current table, which, as I just mentioned, was the librarian, job class 4200, to an existing table in the contract that is not utilized at this time, called senior librarian, which is job class 54. The senior librarian line, although it's not currently used, already exists in the contract. Therefore, the change can be made ostensibly outside of the collective bargaining arena. Have notified the bargaining unit of our intent to put this request forward, and they indicated their approval. And this proposal would bring each of the positions into that higher pay table at their current step level, which is 5. You may well recall our FY 2022 library benchmarking survey, which showed that our department heads' hourly pay was slightly below average for the cohort that we belong to, at the lowest end of the 5-step scale, and well below average at the higher end of it. We queried those same communities again, identified as economic cohorts in the previously mentioned study, and again came up with figures, and we remain still at well below the average 2647, and well below the cohort average of 2964, and the higher end for the cohort is at 3827, and we top out now at 30.33, so we're well below them. By moving them up to this higher classification, senior librarian that I mentioned previously, it's going to bring us up into an area where our minimum pay, step 1 for those department heads would be $32.19, a little bit above the cohort average, And then the maximum will be at 36.5790, which is a bit below the average.
Okay.
So, but it's going to put us closer in the middle, a little bit closer to it. This progressive move will make a lot of sense, and it will do a couple of things for us. One, I think it will fairly compensate the people who are already doing this work. And number two, it'll put us on a more equal footing with the cohorts that we are involved with, particularly with libraries in the immediate area with whom we will compete for employees. So we'll have a better chance of attracting quality people and maintaining those quality people down the road. This change is going to increase salaries and wages for the full-time employees by a total of $31,131. It'll add $7,108 to the part-time line, and that'll represent a 5.9 increase to our total salaries and wages over the status quo, being if we just leave everybody where they are on the salary tables right now. And it works out pretty well for us because we actually come in on this with a total increase in the budget this year. We're looking at about 5.9%. So it's pretty good, I think. The next line is the Prof and Tech Technologies line, which is the second largest line on the non-salary portion of the budget. And that's really just adding up all the costs that we have for these things. Noble costs us about $48,000 here. We have some software and some hardware that we lease or subscribe to, which will add up to about another $11,000 or $12,000. So we come in at $60,974. Yeah, some of this is largely contractual, so it's stuff that the town expects us to do every year. The other line that's the big one, or the biggest one on the non-salaries, is the other supplies books line. And that's the place where the municipal expenditure requirement comes in. That has to equal 13% of the municipal appropriation. This budget is crafted to deliver exactly that, 13% on the MER. And those are the highlights. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I was looking at the hourly, the cohort rate, and you listed 10 towns, one of which is an NA, one is Saugus. Of the other 8, Reading is by far skewing all of these numbers
Yes,
to the higher end.
yes.
So I think I'm not saying we shouldn't do this, I'm just saying that this table is skewed because of Reading.
Yes, that, they do tend to drive it higher.
By double,
Yeah.
yeah, almost.
Pretty close to doubling ours, yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reading does have highly ranked schools, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can rerun these numbers and look at it without Reading included, but I still
I
think that what the numbers that we're looking for are still gonna come up with range on what we're trying to do here, so.
I think it's fair because they've done great work through some very trying years, and I think it's perfectly fair to.
If they're performing in the current economical climb, the cost of living raise.
Yeah.
And it would be nice for us not to be on the lower end of the pay scale,
Yeah.
but to price ours competitively and attract.
Absolutely.
You want to keep good people.
It'd be great to land right in the middle, but that takes a while.
Yeah, it's a, and this is an expensive part of the state to live in. Essex County is one of the most expensive areas in the state, so.
No, I don't disagree, I'm just saying, of the chart,
Yeah.
the numbers are skewed.
Just curious, how old are our PCs? The Dell computers?
The oldest ones we have are, well, if you don't count the catalog machines, which are probably about 8 years old, 8 or 9 years old, the oldest ones that are in use by staff in regular public computers were put in 2016. So what we do each year is we rotate about 15% of our stable, if you will. I've replaced all the staff computers in the last 3 years and started replacing the publics as well. We're on a little bit of a stopwatch here on it because it turns out that the machines that were purchased in 2016 had problems with the central power units in them. So, not all of them, but sometimes they would just go off and then not come back on again.
Those were purchased by the foundation, weren't they?
Yes, yeah, very generous donation. They
Yes.
replaced all of the computers in the building at that time. We waited a few years and then we started replacing again.
Alan, are you expecting any pushback from the town on any of this, or is
I-
this in line with?
I don't know if pushback's a good way to put it. I think they'll look at it. I don't know what their considerations are entirely. I think that, generally they decide these things based on merit and what they can do and what they feel will fly.
Okay.
So I expect we'll probably get a warm reception, but, it's a long process. There's a lot of things to look at, and we'll just have to wait and see. They've been very supportive of us over the past decade or so, since the bad times, long before I came in. I think that the present administration has done a good job of supporting the library.
Okay.
Well, as you say, the librarians certainly need it, and they deserve it.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Director Tebow? Well, I don't see anything that we really need to change, so if I could have a motion to approve the budget request as written.
Motion to approve the budget request as written?
Can someone second said motion?
Second,
All in favor of approving the request as written, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And have we had any funding from the foundation at all for anything recently, or?
No, they're kind of focused on trying to figure out this exterior sign
Okay,
project right now.
all right. Trustee Fringo and I had a brief meeting
Yeah.
about the sign, so. Okay, well, I would like to thank Trustee Bell for dropping off some fudge, which I will
No
pay for
problem.
later, which is fine with me, because,
And thank you for the candy canes.
and,
Fantastic.
We're regifting.
now, anyone have any other comments to share for the end of the year? You have something to say, Trustee Tom? Any?
Happy holidays.
All right, there you go.
Enjoy your holidays.
Perfect. So
Stay safe.
I figure our next meeting would be Thursday, January 11th. Could be our next meeting, if that works for everybody. So,
Next year, I don't.
So-
I haven't flipped the calendar yet there,
yeah,
Mr. Chair.
Tom, normally we meet on the second Thursday of every month to give Alan time to prepare all the paperwork.
It's a demanding schedule.
He spends hours on these reports, hours. And then, so generally, we have the appropriate numbers. So generally, we'll meet most months, we take a break in the summer, and if we don't have anything on the agenda, we might skip a month. There's like in November, we didn't meet because we didn't have anything really new on the agenda.
Impressive.
Okay, so January 11th, does that work for everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay, and if I could have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:25 PM?
So moved.
Any opposed? Can we have a motion, can we say yes or no? Yay?
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 Yay.
Excellent. All right, motion passes. The meeting is now adjourned at 6:25. Happy holidays, Saugus. And we'll see you next year.